Perfect. Like I mentioned to everybody, no activity tonight, so you won't be tired and sweating like me. We're just going to cover stuff about self-talk. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty brief one, as always. Don't worry if you haven't got notes and paper; it's all right. As always, we're going to go through the slides. So, as always, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box. I'll keep an eye on it. And I'll get round to answering those. So nice and simple to start. Self-talk in cricket. What types of self-talk are there? So there's two in particular. Do you want to pop in the chat box? If I said to you self-talk, what do you think? What do you think I mean? So Joe, starting with a bad one. Big, bad, negative. Yeah, so that's one. Positive and negative. Good and bad. Positive. Perfect. You've got them straight away. So there's negative self-talk, which everybody does. I don't care who you are, and whether you play for England or whether you play sort of local cricket. Everybody at some stage has some sort of negative thoughts and negative self-talk, and the complete opposite to that is positive. Okay, so you got those two. So a little definition. So it's basically you're in a dialogue, which means your inner thoughts that you have with yourself, and they are negative and they're potentially limiting your ability. So they're not allowing you to reach your true potential. Okay, so examples of that could be, I can't do this, or I could have done something else, I will not, or I should have. Okay, so all those little phrases are quite negative. Like we mentioned, on the flip side to that, there's positive. So positive is the ability for you to overcome your negative thinking. So like I said at the start, everybody, whoever you are, has some bad and some negative thoughts, but it's been able to think positive and get rid of those negative thoughts, which allow you basically to relax, focus on your skills, and be as good as you can be. So things that you'd be thinking about or saying to yourself would be, I can do something, I will do something. Okay, so that's a real brief, quick introduction to negative self-talk and positive self-talk, okay? And it's massive in cricket. If I said to you about a mixture of negative and positive self-talk, and that could be a good thing, do you understand why? Why might it be a good thing having some negative talk to yourself and some positive? In what situation might you do that? Pop some stuff in the chat box if you've got any ideas. You can't be wrong, so just whatever you think. So a mixture of negative and to remind yourself on it. Yeah, reality check. I like that one, Joe. Any more? For confidence, yeah. Might boost you on. Eric, that's a really good point. So I'm going to talk in a minute about everybody is individual, okay? So there's no one size fits all for everybody, okay? But some people boost you on. Hang on, you could say something negative things can get you out, so you can, positive speak. Brilliant, yeah. So you can turn a negative into a positive, but sometimes you need a kick up the backside, or some people do, in order to spur themselves on. Other people would need an arm around the shoulder saying, everything's going to be all right, keep thinking positive. So everybody's different, which we'll talk a little bit more about as we go along. Okay, so the example I've given here, and Eric touched on this and a few others, being critical of yourself about a bad shot or a bad ball. Okay, so you might be giving yourself a little bit of a pep talk, a little bit of a telling off. Okay, which is negative, but it can have a positive effect. But the big thing that I always say, always finish with a positive thought. So you can give yourself that little telling off, but before you bowl your next ball or before you face your next ball, make sure you finish with a positive thought to get you in a good mind space ready for your next ball. Okay? Right, so self-talk, like routines. So we did some routine stuff last week. It's personal, and this is what I was talking about a second ago. And it's individual. So everybody is different, and there's not a one-size-fits-all approach. So we're going to, in sort of 5 minutes or so, we're going to look at having some self-talk routines and phrases that you can use for yourself, but not everybody is going to have the same ones. Okay, so it's really, really important to know that it's not one size fits all. Right, what can you do to get into a positive mindset? So a few comments again in the chat box if you can. What could you do to get yourself nice and positive? Self-talk, I love that one, Harry. Some self-talk, yeah. So you warm up before, definitely, and you might have some sort of a team talk or individual talk within that. Go through your pre-match and your innings routines that we talked about last week, definitely. Lucas, really good one. Visualise winning or visualise you batting and bowling. Visualise a good performance. Think about if you can, next ball, yeah. Think about good things, perfect, some good, loads coming in. Encourage your teammates. Imagine you're getting a wicket in the next ball. So that visualisation, like Lucas said as well. Super. So, like I mentioned, you'd always like to have some negative thoughts before a game, before you come on to bowl if you're a little bit nervous, before you're going out to bat, okay? Really important to replace that with a positive thought. So some of the ideas I had was, and you've already said this, bring up a good memory. So you might have got 5 wickets the week before. You might have got 50 runs the week before. So remember a good place and something that was nice and positive. Those sort of things are opposite, these next ones, to what I talked about on the negative. Saying things like, I can, I will, I have prepared at training. So all that talk has been positive. Okay? So all I'm saying is you can now develop positive self-talk yourself. And it's very, very simple. Okay? You've come up with some great ideas already. It's not rocket science, but it can have a huge impact on your performance. Think about some days when you're in a happy, good mood, you're nice and positive, compared to when you're feeling a little bit and you've been a little bit negative. It can have a huge impact on your mood and how you play. Okay, so it's a simple process that you're all going to learn in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So how to use positive self-talk. Have a positive phrase or phrases personal to you. Okay, so we're not going to copy each other's. You're going to have something that works for you. Really important thing as well is that you use it at important times. So especially if you're having negative thoughts, this is when you really should use your phrases or your mantra to make sure you're feeling nice and positive and you're ready for performance. So my examples, this is me, and this is, I'm not huge on self-talk, but I have a few little things that I will say that I think help me. So when I'm batting, every time the bowler runs up in my head, or even quietly, I don't shout it, but quietly I'll be saying, watch the ball or win this ball. So if you're thinking about a battle on the cricket field, 6 balls in an over, but you take them one by one. Okay, so every single ball I want to win. That doesn't mean I have to hit it for 4 or 6. It means I have to play it on its merits and I have to win that ball against the bowlers and the fielders. Okay, so that's how I sort of positive self-talk to myself when I'm batting. Bowling, don't bowl so much anymore, but I'm a spinner. So the big thing for me and anyone that I coach is I want to spin that ball. So my positive is spin the ball. Okay. And fielding for me, I love my fielding. I field it slip mainly. So to me, I'll be getting ready each time. I lick my hands. That was one of my routines. And then I'm saying to myself, take the catch. Okay. If it's a little bit later in the innings and I'm out in the field, my positive talk before each ball will be to cut off the single. Okay, so there are 3 examples across batting and bowling and fielding that I use personally in my cricket in order for my mind to be positive, which should transfer into my body doing positive things as well. Okay. Right, these are some of the, I did a little bit of research and a few of these are commentators now, and they've mentioned it over the last couple of years when I've been watching cricket. So how the professionals use self-talk. So Ricky Ponting, he says, watch the ball, but he didn't just say it once, he says it 3 times. So when the bowler stood at the end of the run-up with his ball, with the ball in his hand, he shouts, or he says to himself, watch the ball. When he gets halfway towards the crease, he says, watch the ball again. And just as it's coming to the delivery stride, he says, watch the ball. So that gets him ready. And he was quite an instinctive player, pulled pretty well and cut pretty well. Okay, so that was one that Ricky Ponting used to make sure he was in a good frame of mind for his batting. Kevin Pietersen, before some of your times, but a great English batsman, obviously from South Africa, but played for England. He was about be positive with your footwork. So that was something he said to himself. So that's mainly against the spinners, but again, against the quick bowlers, he wanted to be positive with his footwork. So that was something he said to himself before each ball. Rahul Dravid, the wall. So he was quite motivational. He was like, come on. And that was all he said. That got him in the right frame of mind to do his batting. And Josh Buttler, very, very similar. You'll have all seen him probably in the IPL, playing for England. His sort of little phrase is switch on. Okay? So they're just some examples of what current professionals or ex-professionals have used as positive self-talk for them. So like I said, a process you can use to find out what's best for you to implement self-talk in your game. This is what we're going to go through now. So if I put them all on, there's 4. So we're going to think about these 4 things. Where? Now, I would use my self-talk in matches and training, but you might be different. You might just want to use it in training. So you train as hard as you can, and then a match, you go and do your thing. Or you might not be bothered in training. You might have other focuses, and it's just matches where you'd use your self-talk. So that's the first stage that you need to think about where you want to use it. When? So when is it most beneficial for you? Do you want to use it before a match? So some people talked about in the warm-up, talking to other players and that sort of team talk. Do you want to use it before an innings? So maybe just before you're going out to bat or just before you're going to bowl, and it's only something you do once. Are you going to use it every single ball? So I'm more, as a batter, I more use it every single ball. Or, like we spoke about earlier, are you just going to use it when those negative thoughts come into your head? Okay, so when are you going to use it? Why? So what is it that you want to improve? So we've got some concentration there. If we went back to Rahul Dravid and Josh Buttler, who said, come on and switch on, that's probably more a concentration thing. Okay? Peterson, who said about his foot movement, that was a more probably technical thing. So there's different reasons why you would say what you're going to say. Okay, so what I want you to do now, this is just our only task for today. On your pen and paper, you can put where, when, and why, and you can think about when, where, and why is going to be best for you to use your positive self-talk. And we can have a little bit of writing next to each. Okay, so the what is your self-talk routine. It's your positive self-talk routine. So you can devise that from the 3 above. So I'm going to give you about a minute to have a little think and jot some stuff down. I'll share mine with you. And I'm hoping that when you've got it, you're happy to put it in the chat box. So you can put where, and then your answer, when, and your answer, and why. And just share some of your ideas and get everybody thinking. Okay? So I'll give you a minute or so. If anyone's got any questions about it, pop it in the chat box. More than happy to try and help. I'm going to put mine in the chat box as well, so people can see it. That's my where. My when. My why. So batting for me, watch the ball. Bowling, we spin the ball. Fielding, take the catch or stop the single. So that I've just talked you through my where, when, and why, and then my what links into those. Okay, so does anyone else want to share with us what you've got for your where, when, and why, and what you do? If anybody's got anything that they do already, some self-talk, go on, Finn, so you can pop yours in. So has anyone used self-talk already before today? I could have asked that earlier, but. So Finn does something when he's batting. He's going to share that with us. If you want to share, just pop it in the chat box. It'd be great to get some interaction and see what people do with self-talk already. But so you can hit the ball. Do you say anything in particular to yourself, Finn? Switch on, brilliant. So Josh Butler uses that one. So it's a very, very proven technique on everything. Super. Okay, so if you want to send them in to me and I can have a look at them, I'll reply to those in a minute. Everyone push it. Brilliant. So push it before running up, in a game and training, and to focus. Brilliant. Okay, so who, before I talk to you about sort of positive and negative self-talk, who was aware of it? You can just put a yes or a no in the comments section. Who was aware of it? Most saying yes. And who's used it then before? So who's used it? If you put yes or no again, or white, yeah, all the time, brilliant. Good stuff. Now, so just to quickly recap, negative and positive self-talk, they're both normal. It's normal to have some negative thoughts. It's been able to block those out and think positively, okay? Some people need to have that little chat with themselves. Might be a little bit negative, a bit of a pep talk, kick up the backside, but then always finish with something positive, okay? It's all really, really personal, all right? It's not one size fits all. It's what works for you, okay? So you might do it before a match. You might do it before an innings. You might do it before every single ball. You might only use it when those sort of negative thoughts come into your head. It's completely up to you, all right? But what I wanted to do was introduce it tonight to make sure that you were aware of it and you started to think about a couple of things that you could use for your batting, bowling and fielding to keep you nice and positive, okay? So use the where, when, why and what and try and have a think about the things that would work for you, okay? If there's any more questions, I've got one to get back from Lucas. I'll reply Lucas direct. Don't go yet. Pop them in the chat box. Couple of other things quickly before we go. A few missed the batting on Thursday. So I've got Finn Walker, I've got Krish, Sean, Riley, Sam, and I don't know whether I saw Owen or not. So Finn Walker, Krish, Sean, Riley, Sam and Owen, if you're on tonight and you want me to spend 5 minutes going through your batting, stay on at the end and I'll give you each a 5 minute slot and I'll work through you tonight. Bowling, obviously we're doing exactly the same on Thursday for your bowling. Now, I've got quite a lot of bowling videos in, but there are some that I haven't sent them in. I need them before 6 o'clock tomorrow because I'm out all day on Thursday in a school. So what I do is I put them all together in a video so I can share my screen and I can show you. So if you haven't sent me your bowling video, doesn't have to be down at the cricket club anyway. You could just couple of steps, little run up and bowl, just a front view is absolutely fine. Just bowling 3 balls so I can give you some personal feedback for your bowling. Okay. If there's any wicket keepers, so you're not a bowler, you can show me 3 takes of your wicket keeping, and I'll feed back on your wicket keeping instead of your bowling. Okay. So well done, everybody. I hope you found it a little bit beneficial, the self-talk. Lucas, I'll reply now. Those 5 or 6 that I mentioned, stay on, and I'll speak to you more about your batting. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, see you soon.
Bye.
Right, Lucas, let me find your message.
Thanks.
Concentrate, brilliant. Right, just I've replied to Lucas. If you reply, Lucas, I'll keep I'll keep replying to you. Who have we got them? So we've got Jack. Was it Jack? Did I not see Jack as well? So I've got Krish. I've got Riley. Jack, I know you've just joined us. We've just, did you get your batting feedback? I don't think you did you?
No, I didn't.
Perfect. So just stay on. Just stay on. I'll go through your batting shortly. Yeah. That's right, Lucas. Yeah. So concentration, everything out of your mind, and all you're focusing on is that ball when you're batting. Just get your mind nice and clear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can get your where, when, and why. Send them to me if you want, and I'll check them. But all good. Good questions.
Sorry about the spelling.
No, it's better than my spelling, Lucas. Don't worry about that. I'll see you on Thursday, Lucas. See you soon.
See you later. Thank you very much. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right, let me stop the video. Right, Krish.